As the leader of the Booner Pack, I lead from the front.
All right, boys. Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juices pumping, boys.
Good morning, everyone. Saturday mornings with Crunch Time Sports. I am Caleb Czarnik. I'm here with Michael Gentry. Mike, I feel like it's been a long time. We've done that. We've been together on this show. And let me say this. Look, I had a great episode with Klotz a couple weeks ago, but it's great to be back with you.
Yeah,
it's great to be back.
We had a couple busy weekends. You know how it is in the summer with weddings, stuff like that. But Caleb, there's no one I would rather start a Saturday morning off than with you. And then honestly, today we're going to end it together too. We're going to end this Saturday. We got a bunch of stuff planned after the show. So let's have a Saturday, Caleb. Let's have a Saturday.
Hitting the course after this. I believe this is the first round we're playing together this year. You're catching me at a really good time. Played like dog shit these past couple rounds, but, you know, that's why they call it golf. We're going to turn things around here. We got people in the chat here. Vincent, good morning. Crunch Time, good morning, brother. Anakin, what's going on? Motown Mitch, what up, though? Lions rule, Bears rule. Love it.
It's fair.
Love it.
It's fair.
Love it. Mike, a
Yes,
lot
Caleb.
has gone on in these in the sports world these past 2 weeks. We haven't had the show in 2 weeks. We didn't have it last week. One thing I wanted to touch on, we'll get into like the Frank retirement and everything in a little bit. But Mike, I don't know if you saw it, but did you see Michael Beasley and Lance Stevenson go one-on-one?
Yes, I did. And I knew about it because I seen like the Twitter videos from the night before, and I actually wanted to watch it live just to see some of the content that came from it.
Yeah.
But I did see like the ending of it and him winning, Michael Beasley, obviously. I don't know how that was ever like a fair matchup. Lance Stevenson, you don't have that type of bag to be playing, you know, Michael Beasley one-on-one.
He might though. When it was for $100K, Vincent, damn. But
yeah, it's for $100K. That's.
But honestly, if you could, like, when you think of like sneaky best bags of all time, Lance Stevenson is there. Like he's right there. And then Michael Beasley, obviously, he's like known as being a bucket. But did you see like they do it in, you know, fighting and everything? They do the interviews beforehand, like both of them. And Michael Beasley's like, I'm going to drive to my left and you stop me. I'm going to turn around. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to tell you everything I'm going to fucking do. And I'm going to beat you by whatever. And he goes out and beat him by 10. That's just so awesome, dude. Shout out Michael Beasley. One of the best buckets of all time.
Yeah, no, for real. He's a baller. And that's just like one player I don't think you would want to face in like the one-on-one space. Obviously, his career didn't pan out that much for him in the NBA. And obviously he played overseas and did pretty well. But he's just like one of those like bucket getters. Like he's made for like a one-on-one matchup to where Lance Stevenson, where I get your point where he has like a bag and nonsense. But I was thinking more of like his defense might be able to hold him in that, but obviously it did. So
yeah. Got a couple questions here. Anakin, who's on the mound today? It sounds like Tyler Holton is going to be the opener today, followed by Carter Montero. We're going to get to the Tigers in a sec. Mike, I was not able to watch it. Oh, I will say this. If I seem a little discombobulated today, and I hope Booner's in the chat right now, it's because Booner made us stay up.
He did.
Way past my bedtime yesterday to finish up a golf match on PGA. Unfortunately, me and Booner lost, but he kept me up. It was hole 12, and I'm like, Boone, I got to get off, man. You know, I got a busy day tomorrow, got things to do. But I'll say this about Booner. He's a competitor, and he didn't want to quit. Yeah, so if I start saying stuff that doesn't make sense, I do that a lot anyway. But if I start doing it way more than normal, it's because Booner made me stay up past my bedtime. But, Mike, speaking of late night heroics, Steve-O baby, the Oilers-Panthers game was awesome. I think it's going to go down to Game 7. How you feeling about that series?
Yeah. So I do have a future on the Panthers, but I already told you my predicament here. I want to see McDavid win. I didn't think that Edmonton would even make it back, but they're playing so well right now. And obviously the last two games, both overtime games, they've just been tight games. So I agree with Steve-O in that sense. I think it is going to go to Game 7, and I don't think we could have asked for a better series as far as competitiveness, physicalness, just everything. You got the best player in the game against the best team in the game, so it's awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun series. Yeah, that was double OT, right?
Yes, yep.
Oh,
And
that's
Brad
big time.
Marchand, the rat, he
That's
he
big
topped
time. I
it
mean,
off for.
fun time in sports. We got the finals too, and I did see the finals ratings are down, but that game one, that was pretty sweet. I mean, and I know we got like our guy Flannel Sam, not the biggest Tyrese Halliburton guy. I'm not either. He didn't play great until the last 2 minutes of that basketball game. But man, does he hit clutch shots?
Yeah.
I mean, that shot was fucking insane, dude. And I think there's a stat somewhere he's like top 5 ever in a playoff run for clutch shots. Am I wrong?
Nah, I mean, I believe it in this sense. He's hitting at least one of them per series, for this whole playoffs thus far. And he was clutch in the regular season too. So that's like the thing. Like, even though you might not like Halliburton as a person or player, but you damn near you have to respect him after this playoff run, because the things he's done in clutch time has just been unreal. And even like a game like what was it, Thursday? The Pacers did not play well at all, and they still battled back. They had multiple players over 10 points. Like, it was just a team game, and you can never count that team out. That's why I don't really get, like, obviously it's not the big market cities as, Indiana and OKC, but these are two really good teams. OKC is the best team in the West, obviously, and what Indiana has done through the East this year, you should want to watch them. You should want to watch them in these finals. So,
yeah, they built their team. Even though, as Pistons fans, we're obviously not the biggest fans of Indiana, but they built their team the right way. And it's super impressive what they've done. Again, I'm not a Halliburton guy. And I'll say this too. It's tough to make an argument now because Halliburton's playing in the NBA Finals and he just hit a clutch shot to win them game 1 on the road. But if Cade Cunningham was on the Pacers, if you switch, they'd be the 1 seed. They would win the entire thing. Yeah, pretty easily. I mean, I think Cade's a better player than Halliburton because that's a big discussion that's going on right now. Kind of prompted by our guy Flannel Sam, which I respect everything he's saying.
I think Cade is definitely a better player than Halliburton, but I just think Halliburton fits so right on that team. That's why I don't know if I was go as far to say that Cade would make them the number 1 seed, because I just think like the way that team fits together and the way Halliburton plays on that team, like, I don't know. It just works out. And that's not like a shot against Cade. Like I said, I think he's far and away, not far away, but he's better than Tyrese Halliburton for sure.
Yeah. Well, we always talk about like, get Cade a running mate, even like a 4. Pascal Siakam would be like the perfect player to play alongside Cade. Let's see what Booner has to say here. By the way, Booner, I did out you about 3 minutes ago. Don't know if you saw it. You made me stay up way past my bedtime today. I'm a little discombobulated, as people will say. But he says, to be fair, Holly has had a clutch shot opportunities and made them when Cade. You're 100% right. That's why there's an argument for both sides. But I do believe that Cade Cunningham, a Cade Cunningham led Pacers team, it makes me throw up even saying that phrase. But I don't know. I think they're a better team with Cade Cunningham. But yeah, Halliburton, I mean, all the credit to him, man. When in crunch time, when it's time to hit a tough shot, Halliburton is going to make that. Is going to make that shot, and he's going to be the one taking the shot.
I kind of want to go back in the vault too, Caleb, about something that we talked about when the Pistons were still in the playoffs, on who we would have rather wanted them to face at that time, being the Knicks or the Pacers. I think we can comfortably say that we definitely wanted the Knicks in that series, because I don't know if it would have went so well against the Pacers, especially the way the Pistons were actually blowing leads some of those games, and just the way the Pacers playing at their pace. I don't know if it would have been as close as that Knicks series. So I think it worked out well in our favor in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, they're playing the best ball of they just run, like we were talking about in the group chat a couple. I think it was a week ago, they run like 10 guys deep in the playoffs, and not a lot of teams can do that. You have a 16, 17-point scorer in Benedict Mathurin who's playing 12, 13, 14 minutes a night. And they extended in the offseason They extended Andrew Nembhard because he is a playoff riser. Like, he's not a guy in the regular season that you're thinking like, oh, Nembhard's going to get them 20 a night. You know, he's going to be the third guy with Halliburton and Siakam, and he's going to pair well with Miles Turner. No, he's a playoff riser, and that dude is a dog. That combo he hit against Shea was disgusting, dude.
Ooh.
It was to trim it to like 4 or something. Yeah. 4. I mean, dude, that was nasty. Andrew Nembhard, dog. When he was at Gonzaga, dog. Was he on the team with like Chet?
I'm not too sure, to be honest.
Or maybe he was on the team with, or were Suggs and Chet on the same team?
Yeah. No. I think no. But to your point, what I was gonna say is there's so many different dudes, like you brought up, kind of like the Nembhards, the Naismith, you see it from Siakam one game, you see it from Halliburton one game, like Obi Toppin had like 17 last game. The game before that, Benedict Mathurin had an impactful game. Like they're just getting it from all angles. Like you said, there's multiple 10-point scorers on their team, and they just play like the perfect team game. They like remind me in a sense of like the Pistons, but they don't have that edge to them back in the day. But the way they move the ball and the way everyone gets involved, they remind me in a sense that way. And that's why I think they're able to go toe to toe with the OKC, and you can never count them out in those games, because even when they take their starters out and you have a bench matchup with against them, you never know. Caleb, you got blurred on us.
This has been happening. This happened 25 times before we started the show.
We don't know what it is, but I'll go solo for a second while you finish it. We got Boone in the chat. Boone says Pacers are winning this series. Hey, Boone. I might agree with you, Boone. I might agree with you.
I think I'm good, Mike. Okay.
All right, Caleb's back.
I think you guys liked it blurry anyway, so you didn't have to look at this face at 10 in the morning. Shout out, Chesco in the chat. Mike, this is your opponent today on the course. Yes, they were on the same team, both carried by a 27-year-old Drew Timme.
Hey, yeah, Timme is a legend.
Yeah, he's a dog. But
all right, Caleb.
I guess I'll say this, Mike, before we move on. Boone just said it. Pacers winning the series. How you feeling? Who's winning that series? Is OKC going to come back?
I think they probably do, but I'm rooting for the Pacers.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Not an SGA guy?
Not really. Like, I respect his game, but, the foul baiting and stuff like that kind of takes away from it. But he's a great player. Like,
yeah.
I just like the story, like the Pacers kind of, defining all odds for this playoffs, showing up in big moments, just how they've gotten here. I just like the story, so.
Yeah, I think they win that series in 6. I think it's going to be an exciting series. But, Mike, we're going to get some Detroit sports news. Obviously, earlier in the week, our guys, Booner, Jeff, and Lukas did a great job covering this. Frank Ragnow retires. Obviously tough for the Lions. That's a ginormous loss. That's an all-pro center you're losing on what was going to be one of the best O-lines in all of football. Now you're stuck in this in-between where it's like, yeah, you drafted a guy in the second round in Tate Ratledge, who was probably very capable of playing center, but didn't play a snap at center all year long. And then you have a guy in Graham Glasgow who's getting up there in age, struggled a little bit at the end of the season. I know he was a little bit banged up at the end of the year. The entire O-line was.
Oh, yeah.
We know Graham could be a great player. He could be a great leader. But just making that transition, I think it's a little – look, I'm if you guys didn't know, I've never played in the NFL, nor did I play on the offensive line.
Can we prove that?
Well, you can't. But I'm gonna tell you right now, I didn't. I didn't. Despite popular belief, I did not. But I think that transition, it sounds like it'd be like fine, like kind of moving to guard from center, but that has to be just a tough transition for anyone. Even a guy like Graham. Graham played 52 snaps at center last year for the Lions.
Graham was terrible last year.
Time, Graham.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
keep it a buck.
He was.
Terrible.
No, he was. He was terrible last year, but I do think I think a lot of it was from I think that entire line was just banged up.
Yeah.
And he was so good for us the year prior. But I'm concerned about it. I'm concerned. Because the center, that's the second most important position on the offensive line, or maybe the most important position, that or left tackle.
Yeah.
Who would you feel more comfortable with running week 1 at center? Tate Ratledge or Glasgow?
I would probably say Glasgow, obviously, of now, but I don't think that's saying much with a second round pick, first coming in. But maybe as the year goes on, you throw in Tate. But I don't know. That, like you said, that's just such a terrible situation. I'm happy for Frank in a sense that he can finally rest. But, man, the Lions are going to be in a deep hole. And to say that I'm not worried or to say that I'm confident about that center position, it would be a blatant lie. And like if I'm on the worried scale about that offensive line, I would probably be at like a 7 as far as that center position goes, 7 to 8, because like I said, Graham Glasgow, like, okay, he's had some stints where he's done well, but for the most part of last year, he was awful. And, Tate Ratledge, you never know what you're going to get. You started another rookie in Christian Mahogany, like, there's just a lot of question marks with that offensive line. And you went from that being like the best part about your team, how your team was built around, how you're going to run your offense, to now having multiple question marks on what made you the best team in the NFL. So,
yeah, but I will say this, Mike, looking back at the beginning of the offseason, getting Hank Fraley back on this staff is so fucking huge. Because could you imagine losing your offensive line coach? And then the cornerstone of your offensive line. Like you said, basically your whole foundation of your whole football team just being revamped, and you have to retool everything going into the year. So I think Hank Fraley is going to do a great job figuring this all out. But yeah, I mean, obviously tough. And Mike, I'll say this too. I've seen a lot of this, and it's really fucking pissing me off. I posted a TikTok about it. About Frank retiring, and I have people in the comments saying, how did they not let him? How did Frank not let him know sooner? How did he just do this out of the blue? If you don't fucking think that Frank Ragnow went into the office probably after last season ended and said, "Hey, I got a lot of things to think about this offseason. Retirement is definitely an option." If you don't think even before the draft, 100% before the draft, he said, "Hey, there's a possibility I might retire here. I'm going to see how I feel when I go out in my workouts and everything." So for the people that saying Frank did it like out of the blue and that we should be upset with Frank that he didn't give like the Lions any notice so they could have made any moves, that's just incorrect. He 100% said something. 100%.
Okay. Given that he probably did say something, because I do agree in that sense, do you think the Lions may have mismanaged how they went about drafting and replacing Frank Ragnow, or were just replacing the O-line because you let Kevin Zeitler go, and where did he go? Tennessee, and most of that contract was, guaranteed money. You have some money now, but did they mismanage that whole situation in your eyes? Getting a Frank replacement and kind of revamping and rebulking that O-line. So,
well, I would say no in this sense, because they did go 2 interior offensive linemen in the draft, and they just signed one, but that was post Frank Ragnow retirement. But they did go 2 interior offensive linemen in the draft, and a guy in Tate Ratledge that they drafted in the second round, who I'm sure Brad Holmes loved, and I think they think he has the capabilities to slide in and be the day one center. I mean, what were they going to do? They couldn't go out and like sign some like a big center. I think they did almost everything they could, honestly. With the salary cap situation and everything. I don't know. I think they did the best they could.
Yeah.
And I think they love Ratledge.
Yeah, no, and I said that right when I came on here after the draft, that he was my favorite pick. You get an SEC bred offensive lineman, interior offensive lineman that can kind of, bounce around a little bit. I think he's got very high potential. But Caleb, we have a big series going in downtown Detroit right now. Yes. Chicago Cubs came to town. I think every game is beyond sold out. They're selling like fucking standing room tickets to stand in the fucking street. there's so many people down there. Great series. I mean, Scuba last night, the Tigers get the win. He had like 7 innings pitched, had like 8 hits, 1 earned run. Yep. So, good start for them. And like you said, who's on the mound today? Holton.
I from what I've seen, I think Holton's going to open, and then Montero is going to go the rest of the game. But Mike, how fucking good is Tarek Skubal?
Oh, he's unreal. He's appointment television, as I always say. If you don't watch the Tigers on a day-to-day basis when they play, you better lock in when Tarek Skubal's on the mound because it's just unreal.
Mike, I'm gonna get this stats correct because I don't want to discredit Tarek Skubal. I put this post out yesterday. In Tarek Skubal's last 23 2/3 innings of work, he's allowed 1 run, and he has 26 strikeouts and 0 walks in that span. And this is what makes Tarek Skubal so good. Well, at least one of the reasons. He pounds the strike zone. I mean, he just attacks these hitters. And hitters think their best chance of getting a hit off of Skubal is swinging at first pitches. But you can't when you're seeing 99 from Skubal. That's what makes him so good. He's not wasting any pitches. He's always around the zone. And I would say yesterday, too, he didn't even have his best stuff. And he still mowed down that Chicago Cubs order, who have been successful against left-handed pitching. And, I mean, he is just unbelievable. And we saw it. We saw it the game where he went 9 innings, 13 Ks, 0 were in the Maddox. That was when you were about to get swept by the Guardians. And he put a screeching halt to that losing streak. And you just split a series with Chicago that you shouldn't have split. And he comes back and brings the swagger right back to the Detroit Tigers clubhouse with a W, throwing a gem. That's what your aces do. And that's what a $400 million pitcher looks like. And he's going to get that. But, I mean, we've had that conversation a million times that should be the contract he gets. But, man, he is fucking good. But, Mike, I will say this. That was a really fun win last night. But that splitting that series with Chicago, that was frustrating. God, I think we swept Chicago earlier in the year. But I think it took like a torque walk off. Like they always play us tough. Like they played us tough for some reason. Yeah, it's annoying.
Tigers are playing down to their level, I guess you could say.
Yeah, right here. I want to mention this bad base running mistake by PCA in a huge moment. Yeah, I mean that I don't know. I don't know if that was on the third base coach or what, because I don't know how you round that bag and you're halfway down the baseline and you decide to come back. But PCA, I mean, he's a fantastic player. He's insane.
He's so goddamn fast, great center fielder, and he's hitting like 16 homers already this year. So he's been unreal.
Yeah,
but Caleb, I wanted to bring up something, and I don't want to sound on the negative side, and it's going to come off that way. We've talked about this a little bit before. What is it with the Tigers, big players, the Riley Greens, the Kerry Carpenters, not being able to get those big hits in big situations? And then we'll see the AJ Hinch psycho play, pull in a guy like Jahmai Jones in the 5th inning or whatever it is. It just, for example, it's happened multiple times with multiple games, just random guys coming in and having that ice and making that big hit. But we have guys like Riley Green. When it comes to the 9th inning, he's just a shell of himself sometimes. Yep. Even Kerry Carpenter, like the big guys aren't really showing up in the big moments, and we haven't really seen it affect us that much yet. But like if you look at the stats, and Caleb, I'm sure you have, it shows up there. They're not, there in the big moments, and that's not really a slight on them. I think Riley Green's been great this year. Kerry, he's obviously went through a little slump in the past like 2 weeks or so, but he's starting to break out of it, I guess you could say, hitting for more power. But are you seeing that too, or am I crazy? Chat, you guys seeing that? Like,
no, I mean, Mike, I got
big moments going ghost. There's a few others too. It's not like they're playing terrible, but it's just sometimes in those big moments when you need a big hit, they're getting it from the unusual suspects rather than the guys that you would think. And credit to AJ Hinch sometimes because he's making these changes, throwing Wenzel Perez in, Andy Ibanez, Jahmai Jones, like he's throwing these random guys in and they're getting those big hits. But at what point does that come a problem when you have to take, some of your best hitters, some of your best players out,
Well, those are your Bulldogs in your lineup, and it does get frustrating sometimes, but I'll start with the positive here. You look at two guys in the lineup that have been really clutch this year for the Tigers, one being Gleyber Torres. Gleyber Torres is the definition of a veteran bat, the veteran bat the Tigers needed. And this has been such, and I downplayed this Gleyber Torres signing way more than I should have because, man, is he just he's a bulldog at the plate. Every at bat he is fighting. I've seen him get to 1,000,000 full counts, but in situations where it's 2 outs, runners in scoring position, he has 8 RBIs. He got his 8th RBI last night with 2 outs with runners in scoring position. He's hitting around 300 in that spot. A guy like Spencer Torkelson, he's hitting 324 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. So those guys are delivering in your big moments. But when you're talking about other guys in the middle of the order, Riley Green is hitting 120 in those situations. Kerry Carpenter, 167. So when you get down in series, like in this series, like against a really good team like Chicago, when you have runners in scoring position and you need a clutch hit and you got the middle of your order up, you should be fucking drooling. You should be drooling at that. And they've Riley and Kerry, they've both struggled in those spots, but they're so good where it's like how they're so good otherwise where it's like, but I mean, back to Gleyber for a sec, Mike. He's an all-star. He's probably the best offensive second baseman in the American League. And just what he adds to this Tigers lineup has been unreal. And we're going to have discussions later in the season because, we only signed him to a 1-year deal. Do you bring this guy back? Like, because he has been so important. I mean, to put this in perspective, Mike, because I did some digging around yesterday, because 8 RBIs with 2 outs and runners in scoring position, that's a clutch hit. That's clutch hitting.
Yes.
I think Judge has 7 RBIs in those spots. I think Ohtani has 3. I think J-Ram has like 7. So Gleyber's up there for being one of the better clutch hitters in baseball. Talent. And one thing with him, too, it's like, and we saw it a little bit in New York, that he was trying to be this, 40 home run guy, which at a point he was early in his career, like hitting 35, 30 homers. But now he's you could tell he's just grown so much as a hitter, working deep into counts, hitting the ball to the opposite way, not swinging at pitches that are he's not swinging at bad pitches, and he's controlling the strike zone. So, I mean, I do agree with your point. Yes, we absolutely need these guys to step up in big moments. The Riley Greens, the Kerry Carpenters. Like, you don't want to pinch hit. Like, even though Jahmai Jones, that was an unreal moment last night. That was unfucking believable. Like, that. How can you not be romantic about baseball with stuff like that? Shout out Billy Bean. Great quote. Moneyball, greatest baseball movie of all time. Debate a wall. But yeah, you obviously don't want to pinch hit Kerry in those situations, even against a left-handed pitcher. You want your best hitters at the plate in those spots.
Yeah.
But,
and like I said, I didn't want to. I got one more Tigers thing for you, and then we'll move on to our NFL stuff. But I didn't want it to sound like a slight at Riley because I still think he's an all-star too, and he's playing at an all-star level. But
it's a valid criticism.
Sometimes in those like late innings and those big hits, you just got to show up, Riley. And, sometimes I don't know if he's swinging for the fences. He's trying to murder that ball, just trying a little bit too hard at those instances, but whatever.
Mike, before we get into Tigers real quick, I mean, before we get into the NFL, we're going to do over-unders just for some rushing yards, receiving yards, all that good stuff. But before we get into that.
Wait. I got one more Tigers, though.
Go ahead.
Bo Bichette. I've been seeing it all over Twitter. We said it a couple weeks ago that he was one of our guys, Trey Sweeney, shortstop, obviously a lot of question marks there. And then now the rumors kind of infiltrated Twitter rather. So now it's out there. What do you think about that? Obviously, Trey Sweeney, Javi Baez, shortstop. We already talked about this. We have a lot of pieces in our puzzle right now, and we'll have a lot of extra pieces once this puzzle's finally done, we could say. What do you think about a move like that? And what does it even cost to get a guy like Bo Bichette that's obviously going to need a new contract next year?
Here's the thing. It all kind of depends how they feel about Javi. It all depends how they feel about Javi. If they think Javi Baez could be this team's everyday shortstop, they're not going to go out and make a move for Bo Bichette. However, Trey Sweeney can't be in this lineup for much longer. I mean, he is really struggling. And I get it. I say this all the time when players struggle. That's baseball. You're going to go through cold spells. We saw Trey Sweeney look like Ted Williams in the beginning of May. But if you really want to go and contend, you go and get these guys on one-year deals that teams like Toronto are going to be willing to give up. And Bo Bichette's that guy. He's in 278, 8 homers, 760 OPS. His strikeout, he's not striking out a ton. I think he's on pace for around 115, 100 some strikeouts, which is about normal nowadays. But if you have Bo Bichette as your everyday shortstop, and then you could do something with Baez and Vierling at third and stuff like that. I'm in love with the idea of bringing Bo Bichette to Detroit, and I don't think it's going to take much. He's on a one-year deal, and you have guys that are expendable. Jace Young's expendable. We got some pitchers in. We got Max Anderson. That's a pitcher that I think is expendable in the Tigers organization, and I'm not even saying it's going to take that much. Because Bo Bichette's not the player he used to be. He's still a really good player, but he's not that all-star shortstop that he used to be. I love the idea, Mike. And another guy, too, shout out Nick from the heavyweights.
Microwave Nick.
I like the idea of Aroldis Chapman as well, because you do need another flamethrower in this bullpen, specifically a lefty. I mean, dude, could you imagine rolling? Because right now I'm. And it feels weird to say because this Tigers bullpen has been so good. But when they told the rubber, I'm really only fully confident in 3 dudes right now. That being Herter, Vest, and Canley. Obviously, Chase Lee is nasty. Tyler Holton got an MVP vote last year. And I think Tyler Holton's going to turn things around because he's been struggling lately. But you had Aroldis Chapman in this bullpen. Holy shit, Mike. Holy shit. And pairing him with Vest and Canley. Mike, let me tell you this.
Imagine after a Scooble start where he goes deep in the game and then you just roll out Chapman right after to close it.
Well, picture this. You could go Vest in the 7th, right? It throws hard. Then you go Canley, who's throwing 70% changeups, 80% changeups. You throw him out in the 8th. And then you go Chapman in the 9th, who's throwing 102 from the left side. But I think because we don't know what spot the Red Sox are going to be in. Like, they could end up turning things around. They're struggling right now. They could end up turning things around, and Chapman will just be off the table for any trade. But I don't know. Could you imagine leaving an offseason with Aroldis Chapman and Bo Bichette?
Oh, it'd be unreal. Yeah, the Red Sox are 10.5 back from the Yankees. I mean, they got Tampa Bay and Toronto in front of them, so who knows? And my thing about that, we won't spend. This is my closing comments, then we'll go to the NFL. Why would a team? Obviously, he's still on a 1-year deal, but they just locked down Vlad again. They just signed Anthony Santander. Like, do you think Vlad Guerrero would kind of look at them sideways, like after he just signs this long-term deal, and then you let obviously your shortstop of the future and a great player like Bo Bichette walk? And I mean, they're 5 games above 500, Toronto, so not the greatest, but they're up there. And I don't know. I think a move like that would Vlad would be a little pissed about it. So I don't know if that will actually boil down to what everyone's thinking.
Yeah, and you just spent money on Santander too. Which that contract sucks, man. I mean, because he's going to be a DH. He's coming off a really huge year. That contract sucks. I mean, that team is not in a great spot. But I don't know, Mike. Okay, one more thing, MLB related, because I do want to get your take on this. We haven't talked about this yet. And I think it's an interesting conversation because we had similar conversations when it came to Skubal last year, and it made me sick even talking about it, that people wanted to trade Tarek Skubal because it felt like a Mercedes in like a trailer park, Do the Pirates trade Paul Skeens?
No.
What does you don't think they do? I think they should. I think they should.
I mean,
I think it's totally different than the situation that the Tigers were in last year.
Well, yeah, the Pirates they're terrible, and they really don't have any bright spots in their lineup besides like Reynolds and O'Neal Cruz, but like I don't know. I just think if you trade him, they've had him for what, 1 year, literally 1 year.
Yeah.
That fan base will the city of Pittsburgh would go up into flames. I think you got to at least like let it run out or like, extend it a little bit and then try and like build a team around him, get some competitive baseball. But if you get the first pick and then you trade him a year later and then you're kind of just back to where you were, a year ago, I don't know. I just don't think that would bode well with the Pittsburgh fan base. But at the end of the day, Paul Skeens will be a Yankee or a Dodger whenever that contract's up. But I don't think it's going to be like right now. I don't think they move him.
But at the same time, it's like, okay, if I'm the Pirates GM, if I'm the Pirates owner, you give this guy a quadrillion dollars to stay on your baseball team. But if for some reason you're not going to do that, why would you not trade him and try to build a baseball team rather than just have one really good ace? That's one game out of the week that you could really go in there and feel confident about winning. Like why not go out and try to get 1 million prospects? Like you call up Boston, you go get Roman Anthony and someone else. Even if I wouldn't do this, I want this on the record. Tigers fans, I wouldn't do this, but why wouldn't they call up the Tigers and say Max Clark, Rayner, Young, and Job, and Skeens is yours? Again, I wouldn't do that, but if you're not going to pay them, you might as well shop them and see what you're going to do and try to build a baseball team.
I get it, and I just don't think they do that this year. Maybe like going into next year, I just think they have to get something out of him. Like he is kind of what keeps that ballpark flowing as of now. Like how it is with a terrible team and a superstar, but I don't know. It's tough. I think the return on that would have to be something so insane.
Yeah,
and like it would like have to pan out. Like it 100% has to pan out. Like the Juan Soto trade with the Nationals, where they now have like CJ Abrams, James Wood. They got like Dylan Cruz out of that. Like they got like 3 studs. Like James Wood is fucking unreal. CJ Abrams is going to be one of the best shortstops in the game for a long time. And like it would have to be an insane deal like that where what you're getting and you're getting some studs. But like I said, I don't think that happens yet. He'll be a fucking Dodger or Yankee before we know it though.
Yeah, well, the Pirates suck dick. I'm glad I'm not a Pirates fan. Tigers are rolling right now, but we're going to go to some NFL here. I did my yearly just look at the over-unders for, passing yards, rushing yards, receiving yards for the year, and some caught my eye. Some were a little bit random, so I'm going to give Mike some over-unders, and I'm going to see how he feels. I'm going to start with passing yards here. First one. We're going to go Dak Prescott. Over under 3,800 yards.
I'll go over.
You'll go over.
What?
You'll go over.
Yes. Obviously, we know what the Cowboys' running game is. Not the greatest. You add George Pickens. You still have Jake Ferguson. You have CeeDee Lamb, who I believe is one of the best wide receivers in the league. You know what you're going to get from him every single week. He's a dog. So I'll take the over on that.
I'm going blurry again, Mike. I'm going blurry again. I mean, this is ridiculous. We're just gonna fight through it though. We're gonna see what happens here. Probably better for the audience. Probably a better viewing experience.
Don't do that, Caleb.
No,
don't do that to us.
Mike,
don't do that.
Don't make me blush. Don't make me blush now. Don't make me blush.
It said James Woods from Family Guy. Hey, legendary show. Legendary baseball player too.
This for me is kind of just based off vibes. I'm gonna go under for this, and I have another player on the list that we're gonna talk about a little bit, but I'm gonna go under for Dak Prescott. I do think he has a good year, but I don't think he's gonna sling it this year. I know they just added George Pickens. Hint, hint. We'll get to him in a second. I think you're gonna be kind of weirded out by this line, but I'm gonna go under for Dak Prescott, 3,800. This one right here. This is one I might throw some cash on. Trevor Lawrence over under 3,700 and a half. 3,700 yards, Trevor Lawrence.
I'll
New
probably
coach,
still go
Liam
on.
Cohen.
I don't care. I'll still go under.
Under.
Yep.
I think Trevor Lawrence, this is, and I know people have been saying it for a minute, I think this is Trevor Lawrence here. You get Liam Cohen coming in. You have Brian Thomas, who just broke out last year. I mean, this
Travis
is,
Hunter, who knows? But
you have Travis Hunter. I think he could touch 4K. I love Trevor Lawrence at 3,700 yards season long. I think he has a really good year, man. I don't know if Jacksonville will necessarily be the greatest team in the world, but I think, dude, he is ultra talented. Trevor
yeah,
Lawrence. He was a dog at Clemson. He's been the best quarterback in his class his entire life, and just the NFL and bad coaching caught up to him a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I like me and Jeff obviously have been big Trevor Lawrence guys for the past couple of years, and I just don't know that I could put my confidence in him one more time to be let down. Obviously, Boone's in here. He was talking about Trevor Lawrence last year with Gabe Davis and this great offense, and it just never happened. Their offensive line was terrible. Trevor Lawrence has like always been banged up, so I'm not saying he can't do it. But even with this revamped offense with Travis Hunter, Brian Thomas Jr. going into year 2, I still need to see it. I still need to see it.
Yeah, I'm going over. I think this is a dream situation for Trevor Lawrence, and he found his running mate in Brian Thomas Jr. So I'm going over 3,700.
And the big thing about that is I think they need to get the running game back going too, and that's obviously not on Travis Hunter or Trevor Lawrence's fault, but Etienne hasn't been too consistent, obviously. And what did they have? Tank Bigsby. So they once they get that running game figured out a little bit and that offensive line maybe kind of works itself out, I could see it, I guess. But as of now, I'm going to go no. Just Trevor Lawrence was just getting banged up last year. He's always getting hit. Travis Hunter obviously is a hell of a player, but I don't know how much that's going to elevate when the offensive line and the run game isn't there.
All right, third one here, Mike. Interesting line. J.J. McCarthy, over 3,550.
Give me the over.
Passing yards.
Give me the over.
Okay, well, this is where it gets tough because it's easy to say over because he has Jefferson, Addison, Kevin O'Connell, who's a great coach, just a good offensive line. It's a perfect situation for him. But, Mike, this is his rookie year, technically. Yeah. I mean, he didn't play a snap last year. So you think he's going to be around like that 3,600, 3,700 yard mark for in his rookie year? Technically, his rookie year next year.
To be honest, I think he'll be that. I think that's like a fair line, and I think he'll be right around it. He may go under, he may go a little over, but I do think he puts up similar to that. And me being a JJ guy, I'll take the over. I think that's a pretty fair line given the weapons they have. I mean, you still have Aaron Jones receiving back. You have TJ Hawkinson, like you said, Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson, the best wide receiver in the league. So he's got some weapons out there. I think it will be right around that, but I'll go over still.
If I was a betting man, I'd probably say the under. I think he'd be right around 3,400. But
I don't hate it, to be honest, but I'm a JJ guy. I got to ride with my guy.
I've said this a couple times, man. I think the Vikings are going to be good again, but I don't think it's going to be all on the shoulders of J.J. McCarthy. I just think that's a good football team. Think it's a good football team. You got a good running game, good offensive line, obviously great weapons for J.J. The defense makes plays, but I'm probably going to go the under on J.J. McCarthy. And then last one, we're going to go with the Lion here. I think this is an easy over. I think he's going to get to 4,000. Jared Goff, over under 3,875.5.
Yeah, I'll take the over on that.
Yeah.
And I'm still consistent on it. This is a big year for Jared Goff. Big year. You got to show up.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, This is put up or shut up here kind of.
Yep. Big year for Jared Goff.
Rushing yards. Rookie Ashton Genty, over under 1,075.5. Mike, this is a tough line.
Yeah,
as a rookie on not a great team.
Yeah, it doesn't concern me like him as a player. Like I think he's definitely capable of that. It's just you never know with the Raiders kind of what you're gonna get. So you know what? I'll still go over. He's gonna have to be like you know, if that team wants to have any chance at winning games, he's going to be a huge part of their offense. So I'll go over.
I'm going to go over too because I think he's going to get the ball 30 times a game.
Exactly. They're going to run him into the ground. So,
yeah. And look, I'll say the Raiders' offensive line, like when you look, I mean, that's not a terrible offensive line. Like they have pieces there, but that offense is just going to be bad again. Like it's kind of him and Brock Bowers, and I don't know, but I think I'll go over just because he's going to get the ball so much. I think he goes over that. I think he'll be around the 1,100 mark. Another rushing yard here. This is a high one.
Wait a second. I have a quiz question for you because I was just checking out the Raiders roster. Who is the Raiders wide receiver 1?
Is Jacoby Myers still on that football team?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Who's wide receiver 2?
Huh. I don't know.
It could be me, Caleb. It could be you. Exactly. That's the point. They don't have one. It like literally it's just a bunch of random guys. You got like Trey Tucker, Kayshawn Smith, you got Kyle Phillips, Tommy Mellett, Colin Johnson, like Zachary Franklin. Like it's oh man.
Yeah.
They're gonna what Gentry might be ran into the ground by like week 4. I don't know who Gino's gonna pass the ball to besides Brock Bowers. We might need Booner to line up.
Don't sleep on Jacoby now. Don't sleep on Jacoby now.
Okay, yeah, but when Jacoby's your one, you know, your wide receiver 1, and you have me opposite of him getting locked down, it's probably not going to be going too well.
Yeah, sure. Just real quick, Mike, this one it's high. I just want to know if you're willing to take this risk. Saquon, I mean, this line's fucking crazy. Saquon Barkley over under 1,450 rushing yards next year.
Wait, run that back?
Saquon Barkley over under 1,450 rushing yards.
God damn, that's
I mean, dude, holy shit.
I bet you feel like he stays healthy, obviously, and plays the whole year. He probably gets that, but
I think I would go the over.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I
think I would go the over.
If he plays, he's gonna get that. So I'll go over. That's just an insane line, dude.
The Madden curse.
Yeah. Oh, that is true. Yeah.
The Madden curse.
You know what?
Too. Just for the Madden curse, I'm going under.
All right. Fair.
Madden curse, I'm going under. But that is a ridiculous line.
It is.
Last one right here. This guy is bound for he broke out at the end of 2024. This guy, I'm drafting him in every single fantasy league I can.
No.
Our guy Lukas Klotz, you know, he knows his ball, but he absolutely disrespected this guy in his top 10 running back rankings. Just blatant disrespect of Bucky Irving. Bucky Irving over under 1,025 rushing yards in 2025. Easy over. That shit is going to cash, barring injury. That is going to be. I mean, it depends how much Rachaad White gets involved still in that offense, but I think he could be around, you know, the 1,200 mark. Bucky Irving is that dude. He is really, really good, and we're going to be talking about him. Like, you know, obviously it depends on what kind of season Christian McCaffrey has and all these guys, but we're going to be talking about him as like a top 6 running back in football after year's end. Bucky Irving is that dude.
You said it was 1,075 or something?
1,025.
25. So yeah, I mean, he had 1,100 last year, and obviously to start the year, him and Rachaad White were kind of mixing it up a little bit. He wasn't obviously fully seeing the field, and then as the season went on, you've seen him getting the bulk of the carries and kind of breaking out and being that RB1. So yeah, I like that too. I think that's a very favorable line for Bucky. So I'll take the over.
Mike, I got some interesting receiving ones here. I'll start with this one. I'll start with the Lion because this is one that is interesting because there's a lot of mouths to feed in this offense. Obviously, I think you know who I'm going to go to here. Sam Laporta's line for receiving yards in 2025 is 700.5.
So 700 flat, so 701 cashes it. I'll take the over.
I think I'm taking that over too. This guy is just ultra talented. I know there's a lot of mouths to feed. You're going to want to get J-Mo the ball. You're going to want to get Amon-Ra the ball. You got to feed Gibbs. You got to feed Monty. But it's just so you saw it in games last year. The games where like Sam Laporta was a ghost, the offense wasn't moving as well. But when Sam Laporta was one of the vocal points of that offense last year, that they were moving the ball. Not that they struggled to move the ball at all last year, but I mean, Sam Laporta, we were talking about him going into last year that he was a top 3 tight end in football. And then, like I said, in some games, Ben Johnson made him a fucking ghost for some reason. There were games where he had 1 target, 2 targets, 3 targets. Personally, I think that's unacceptable. What this guy does for you, just as a tight end as a whole, he blocks. I mean, he's a great route runner. His hands are fantastic. He could be Goff's safety blanket, partnered with Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm going over 700 yards for Sam Laporta. I think that's easy. I mean, he's one of the game's best tight ends. He is so good. 700 feels disrespectful.
Yeah. No, I mean, he had that last year, and obviously last year was kind of more of the quiet year compared to his rookie year. And I think not that teams forgot about him in that instance, but there's just been so many weapons on this team, and obviously the breakout of Jameson Williams. I think he's kind of been swept under the rug a little bit, and he will have some of those like Sam Laporta surprise games, I guess you could call them, where he pops off and kind of gets back to more of that year 1 Sam Laporta where he was getting the bulk load of catches in games and whatnot. So I like that line either way. Like last year when he had a down year, he still cleared that by like 25 yards. So
yeah, I'm the over on Sam Laporta. Again, a lot of mouths to feed, but that's a good problem to have. And Sam Laporta is, I mean, he's one of those dudes. He's one of those dudes. Shout out J-Rod. Shout out J-Rod. Smash the like button. Smash the like button. I don't know, Jeff Iafrate in the chat also. He hit you with a let me find it here. Yeah. He with an L Gentry. Any thoughts on that? And that's your teammate today on the course.
It was my teammate last night. It's my teammate again today, and I got him throwing strays at me.
Well, do you want me to say this? That's pretty, that causes some turmoil in the team. That's pretty fucked up that he did that.
Yeah,
Al Gentry, and he meant it too.
I'm trying to shake it off, Caleb. Just keep my my mind focused on the 18 that we have to play after this.
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
I wouldn't be able to shake that off with my teammate that did that to me. So I don't know. There's some turmoil on the other side. Frank, I don't know if you're still in the chat, but we're in a good spot right now. We're in a good spot. But we're gonna go receiving yards here real quick. Like I said, we already did Sam Laporta. We're gonna go Jackson Smith-Njigba here.
Ooh,
950.5 receiving yards.
Who's the quarterback for Seattle again? Now
Sam Darnold. And let me say that.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know why
Jackson Smith-Njigba was going to fly over this line.
Yeah, no, I mean, no Tyler Lockett, no DK Metcalf. Now, there's no reason to explain that. JSN shown last year, obviously, that he took over for that Tyler Lockett spot in that offense, and now he gets the whole offense pretty much to himself as far as the wide receivers go. So, and Sam Darnold can throw the ball. He'll get it to his guys. We've seen it last year with Minnesota. So, I'll take the over on that.
That line. I mean, he was bound for a breakout year, and he got it last year. And now that he's kind of the lone wolf there, and I don't know if that will benefit him, without DK there, or I mean, now that he's kind of that guy in that offense where the whole defense is going to be focused on him. I don't know if that will affect his numbers, but he's going to get his volume. He's going to get his targets.
Well, they do have Cooper Kupp too.
Man, I mean, come on.
I forgot about that too.
But yeah, I mean, he's a stud. Jackson Smith-Njigba, he's going over 950.5. We're going to rattle off 2 more here for you guys. Rome Odunze over 800.5. Give me the under. Easy. Give me the under. I think he's a good receiver, but that's another offense. And someone said it in the chat. Let me try to find it. Ben Johnson doesn't know how to deal with handle multiple targets. And I that was pretty evident last year a couple times. And there are mouths to feed in that Bears offense. There are.
Yeah.
And I know they drafted Rome Odunze high in the draft last year, but I don't think he's going to hit that 800 buck this year. I think he's a good player. I think he's going to be a good receiver. I just don't think he'll be that 850-yard, 900-yard receiver. And it really depends on what kind of season Caleb Williams has as well. But I'm going to go under on Rome Odunze.
And what was it?
Let me tell you this. It feels sharp, Mike, to go the under on that.
8 or what?
800.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he still goes over that. I mean, they drafted Luther Bird and DJ Moore, wide receiver 1. I don't know.
Now they have Loveland and Komet. Like
Yeah.
there's just a ton of dudes there. There's
I
a
don't
ton
know,
of dudes.
800 just doesn't seem like that much for a wide receiver 2. Like Ben
Yeah,
Johnson's
but do you think Caleb Williams is slinging the ball around like that? Like, okay, what does
never
DJ
know.
Moore like? What does DJ Moore get?
DJ Moore's breaking 1,000.
Okay, what does Loveland get? What does Komet get?
I know.
Like,
I think Roma Dunze will probably be like right around that line, or if right below it. I still think he puts up decent numbers. I think we're kind of sleeping on him. They did have Keenan Allen last year too. Cole Kmet, whatever. I get they have the 2 tight end set now with 2 good tight ends, but I don't know. I'll still go over.
This one, Mike, this ties into the Dak Prescott one and kind of why I went under on this. And this line is crazy for a wide receiver too. I know he's a deep ball threat. George Pickens over under. Not what you sipping on there, Mike?
Oh no, Boone said it's cotton candy. No, it's wild berry, Boone.
Boone, and I'll say this: we did have a top 5 today. We will push.
We're doing it, Caleb. We're staying over. I don't care.
Okay, fine. Well, we'll do it. We'll do it.
Because
we'll do one more.
It's funny, kind of not funny. Well, it's a mix.
Last one, over under 900.5 receiving yards. George Pickens. I'm going the under. He's a problem in the locker room. He's gonna bitch and whine on the sideline. It's gonna be an absolute disaster there in Dallas. He's a talented player, but I mean, it's gonna be a fucking disaster. And look, I could be wrong about this. That's the business, but it's gonna be a disaster. It's going him and CeeDee Lamb is gonna get the bulk of that volume, and it's
rightfully
gonna
so.
George Pickens right off.
Yeah, no, I kind of agree with that. I'm like mixed feelings on how that's going to work out. It's either going to be really well or it's going to be a fucking disaster. So, I think I'll go under 2.
All right,
Caleb.
Mike, here's our top 5. So obviously, unless you're living under a rock or you just don't have Twitter, you don't know what happened. Donald Trump and Elon Musk, we thought they were boys. We thought they were friends. And they're beefing. I mean, they're just taking shots at each other, and it was a crazy day in the Twitter world. I thought it was fucking fake when I was reading this shit. I'm like, this is extremely strange that this is happening right now. So it got me thinking. What are the top 5 like craziest sports moments on Twitter? Like things that happened in the sports world where everyone was talking about it and it just kind of broke the internet. So we made a top 5.
It can be crazy. It can be funny. Just top 5 moments on Twitter that has to do with sports. It could be something funny, something insane, something like a trade. It could be anything. So,
and actually, let me ask you this. And maybe I should ask you this after the top 5. Maybe not. Would that Donald Trump Elon Musk thing be one on your list if it wasn't
sports?
Yes.
I don't know. I think I would have to like dig deep in the vault to see like what else is out there, because that would be in the top 5, but there's been some like other crazy shit that's not sports, you know?
Yeah. Well, my number 5, and I want to shout out Booner for this one because he gave me this idea, and I this one's not going to be on your list.
For help?
No. Well, me and him just had a discussion. You know, okay. Me and him had a discussion about the top 5 last night, and he gave me he texted me this last night.
That's fucked up.
You're not going to have this one, and if you gamble at all, or if you I'm blurry again, Mike.
Yeah.
I mean, this is ridiculous stuff. It's the ops. They're coming for me. It's Elon Musk. He heard me talking, and now he's making me blurry.
You don't
I'm
want
being
to talk
silenced.
about Elon like that.
I'm being silenced.
All right, Caleb. While you fix that, should I start from 5?
Yeah, you could go ahead. I mean, this is ridiculous. What are we doing here?
All right. Or should we do 1 to 5 or 5 to 1?
You do 5.
All right. So I'll go 5, then you read your 5. I'll get you off the screen for a second. Figure it out. And chat, if you guys have any funny moments, obviously, as we're going or when we're done and we miss any of them, throw them out there because we could always use a refresher. But Caleb, I see your screen's finally fixing itself.
Am I good?
No. No, he's not. All right. Dude. So my number 5 is going to be Antonio Brown quitting mid-game, flicking off the fans, taking his shirt off, and then going to tweet about Tom Brady's wife. Just elite moment in Twitter history. He's just like, fuck it, I'm done with football. I'm just gonna go talk shit on Twitter about my teammate's wife, make a bunch of bullshit up. I'm Antonio Brown. That's my number 5.
That's a good one, dude. That's a good one, and that's one I totally forgot about. Mike, that is a great poll. But mine is, it's kind of niche because it's like this stuff, like the gambling and college basketball. And shout out Boone. He gave me this one. I'm going Big Cat's 16-0 gambling streak.
Oh, God.
That shit was fucking insane. That has like never been done before.
Yeah.
That has like never been done. He won like 16 straight college basketball bets before March Madness. It seemed like the whole internet.
It carried into March Madness too.
It did. It did.
Yeah.
Shout out Booner for giving me this one. But yeah, that's my number 5. That was insane. That was crazy.
Yeah.
But what you got for number 4?
Number 4, sticking on the gridiron. Myles Garrett beating the shit out of Mason Rudolph with his helmet. Because Twitter was just unreal after that. You seen so many people quote tweeting that video saying all types of stuff, good and bad. It was just a wild time at Twitter. Myles Garrett assault. The assault tweet came from that. Like there's so many legendary moments from Myles Garrett just going ape shit on the field. Was it right? Was it wrong? I don't fucking know. But it was a hilarious moment on Twitter.
I mean, those are 2 great polls from you, and those are 2 I don't have those are 2 I do not have on my list. Number 4, kind of a weird one, but I mean, this was huge when it happened. I'm going Aaron Rodgers getting hurt on the second play of the year.
Oh, that was bad.
Really? All right. I got Aaron Rodgers getting hurt in his second. I think it was his second career play as a Jet. Runs out on. I mean, it was. If you like Rodgers or not, whatever. It was a sick moment. 9-11. He's running out with the flag. Second play. Tears his ACL or meniscus or whatever it was. That shit was fucking insane. Oh, I mean that was, and I had money on the Jets too. They won that ball game. It was a gritty ass win. I mean, just a gritty win. They won on like a walk-off punt return. But yeah, Aaron Rodgers getting hurt, season-ending injury on the second play of the year as his second snap as a New York Jet when it felt like this was their year. They get Rodgers, gets hurt. That's my number 4.
The American flag video still lives on to this day. When anyone half-asses something, gets injured right away or something, that video's in the comments section. Yeah. So I get it. All right. The next one I'm going to take a little audible here because we had the same one. But I'm going to do Kevin Durant to the Warriors because the picture with him on his, his whatever it was, his jersey, his shirt with the Warriors logo on it. My next chapter. People recycled that meme for damn near everything for months on end. He still gets trolled for the move today. That day on Twitter, like, didn't even seem real.
Yep.
You don't see, similar to some other trades, you don't see that too often. Just insane.
That's honestly, because that's my number 3 as well. That's honestly like, where were you type of moment, with KD. Like, where were you when he signed? And I remember I was driving maybe not driving because I might have not had my license yet, but I remember I was like at a gas station or something and I saw it and I called all my friends. I'm like, wow, this is fucked up. Like, the NBA's ruined. And then the year after that, when Boogie signed there, I was done watching. I mean, that's just ridiculous stuff. But thank God kind of that shit's over with. But yeah, I got KD to the Warriors at number 3. Mike, I'm going to give you my number 2 here. I hope I don't steal this from you because this is a big one. This has an argument to be number 1. It 100% has an argument to be number 1. When Rudy Gobert touched all the microphones.
That is a good one.
Before, when they were joking about COVID and they were like, oh, what do you think about it? And he fucking touched all the mics. And then 20 minutes after, Donovan Mitchell gets it. Everyone gets it. Season postponed, canceled, whatever. They play in the bubble.
Boom.
I have never seen a player get so much hate before. Rudy Gobert, he was getting fucking just bombarded with hate. Kind of rightfully so. So I got when Rudy Gobert touched all the mics, and then it ended in this season getting postponed because of COVID.
All right.
That's my number 2. Has an argument to be number 1.
That's a great one. All right, so I'm going to spitball for this one a little bit. I think I'm gonna go Otani's interpreter or whatever you want to call him, speaker, gambling with
That was
all of
honorable
his
mention.
money, and then like you just see like the quote tweets on that, the tweet like people like putting in like crazy parlays or whatever, like pretending to be him. I think that was just a hilarious moment. A bunch of funny tweets came from that. Obviously, it got kind of blown over, and that situation still being worked out, but that was just hilarious. The guy stealing all of it, Otani's money and just gambling.
Well,
Really.
I mean, that's up for, was it Otani?
Well, either way,
I'm not here,
Ohtani
Mike. I'm not here
Ohtani
to
was a
point
part of the
fingers.
moment then. He was
I
a
don't
part of the
point
moment.
fingers,
It was a
Mike.
great moment on Twitter. People were, trying to figure out where he was putting all this money on, and jokes came of that too. So good stuff.
And let me say this, Mike. He was losing quite a bit. I mean, you want to talk about bad bettors. I mean, I'm up there, but I mean, Shohei Ohtani's, or it could be Shohei. Hey, he's not. Look, again, I'm not a guy that points fingers, but let me say this. Could have been him. We don't know.
Could have.
But man, he was a terrible gambler. Mike, I believe we have the same number one. This has an argument to be the craziest trade ever in the history of sports. The Luka trade. The Luka Doncic trade, I believe, is both of our number ones. It has to be. I mean, it's the most ridiculous trade I've ever seen in my life. It happened at like 11:30 at night. And I was getting ready to go to bed, check my phone. Luka Doncic trade for Anthony Davis. Dude, that was just nuts. The biggest shams bomb ever. I want to check how many likes how many impressions that tweet has. It has to be close to. You want to say this, Mike? Over under.
I couldn't.
Over under. Over under. We'll say 100 million impressions on the original tweet.
Over.
Let me see if I can find this.
I'll go over.
I mean,
in chat, if you have any moments, drop them in the chat right now. We'll
actually
read a few
what did I say? 150 million?
He said 100 million, but
moving 109 million.
109. So just over. That's fucking unreal. Shams got a paycheck out of that.
I'll let you guys know how this because we're going out golfing. I'm in competitor mode now. Mike, it could be a really bad day for you, Mike. I could be dialed in, and you just stand no chance out there. Your partner already, was clowning you in the chat. So I like where I'm at right now, but chat, I'll let you know how the round goes. We appreciate you guys watching.
Wait, Caleb, we got some business to take care of before we sign off. What bot says Oilers girl? That was a legendary moment on Twitter.
Yep, that is a legendary moment.
But now we need to pick our top 5 for next week. And Caleb, we weren't on last week, so we got to pick it this week. They got to pick it now. So start dropping what we should do for top 5 for next week, and we will choose one.
Yeah. Well, Mike, it's been a pleasure as always.
Oh, it has, Caleb. But now, like you said, we're not teammates anymore.
No,
we actually weren't teammates as of 9 minutes ago. But we went a little overboard. That's sportsmanship. If you guys don't know about it, now you know. But now I hate you, so don't speak to me.
No. Look, that's how it goes. I as a fellow competitor, I respect the competitor. You are now dead to me. Everything about you. I'm just coming to take your lunch money.
Yeah. Don't even ask me to have a beer. I don't want to sit with you. I don't want to share a drink. Nothing.
Nope. No transfusions. No, Captain Coke's
maybe
one.
Okay,
maybe one. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in.
Yep.
Another Saturday mornings with Crunch Time. I believe next week is episode 20.
Hell yeah.
So they like the stream. Make sure to subscribe, buy your merch, follow us on our socials, follow me and Mike on our socials. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Should get some nice weather. Go Tigers. Go Tigers. If you're going to the Tigers game, have fun. Should be fucking insane. Should be a packed house at Comerica Park. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Peace out.
Adios.